I'm just your average, snack-loving, adventure-chasing golden dog. And guess what? My best friend Dad and I go on the coolest adventures. We've got a big black Jeep named Birdie, a whole world to explore, and, of course, plenty of snacks. Every week is a brand new tail-wagging adventure. You never know what we'll find. Hidden carrots, new friends, maybe even buried treasure. So grab your hat, pack your snacks, and come with us.
Harley and Dad and the hot air balloon. Harley knew something special was happening the moment Dad opened the cabin door before breakfast. Not after breakfast, not during breakfast, before. That alone was suspicious. The morning air was cool and still, the kind that smelled like pine needles, dew, and the promise of a really good day. Mist clung to the ground like it hadn't quite decided whether to stay or leave. The sun was only just waking up, stretching golden fingers through the trees. Harley padded onto the porch, his bright blue collar catching the light. He sat, he sniffed, he wagged, and then he saw it. Out in the meadow beyond the cabin, right where Harley usually chased squirrels and conducted very serious stick inspections, stood something enormous and colorful and round. Harley blinked, then blinked again. "Dad," he said carefully, "that meadow has grown." Dad chuckled as he stepped out beside him, coffee mug in hand. "Good morning to you too, buddy." Harley tilted his head. "Is it a giant berry? Because if it is, I want to be very clear that I saw it first." Dad laughed. "Nope, not a berry." They walked closer, the grass cool beneath Harley's paws. As the mist thinned, the shape became clearer. Long ropes, a wide basket, and a massive bundle of fabric laid out like a sleeping rainbow. Harley's eyes grew wider with every step. "Oh," he breathed. "Oh." Dad set his mug down on the fence post. "Ever been in a hot air balloon, Harles?" Harley stared, then stared harder, then sat down abruptly. "A balloon," he said slowly. "That is hot?" Dad nodded. "And it goes up?" Dad nodded again. Harley looked at the sky, then looked at the balloon, then at the basket. "Do they allow snacks?" Dad grinned. "Already packed." Harley sprang to his feet. "I love hot air." The balloon crew greeted them with cheerful voices and calm confidence. They explained things carefully, pointing to ropes and burners and fabric panels. Harley listened very closely. He had learned that when humans spoke in calm, serious voices, it usually meant one of two things. 1, everything was perfectly safe. 2, everything was perfectly safe as long as you listened. Harley intended to listen. As the balloon was slowly lifted upright, the fabric rose and billowed, colors snapping gently in the breeze. Reds, yellows, blues, and greens all tumbling together like a box of crayons spilled across the sky. The burner roared to life. Whoosh! Harley jumped, then smiled. "Oh," he said, "it sounds like a dragon that had coffee." Dad rested a hand on Harley's back. "You okay?" Harley nodded. "I am alert and excited and possibly vibrating." The basket was sturdy, woven thick and strong. Harley leaned over the edge and peered inside. "Dad?" "Yeah?" "If we go up, how do we come down?" Dad smiled. "Slowly." Harley considered this. That seems wise. The moment their paws and boots were inside the basket, something shifted. The ground didn't move, but it felt like it did. There was a gentle tug, a quiet pause. Then they were floating. Harley's breath caught in his chest. The meadow drifted away beneath them, shrinking softly, like someone was slowly turning down the volume on the world. Trees became round green shapes. The cabin's porch looked very small and very far away. Harley leaned against Dad's leg. "We're doing it," he whispered. Dad nodded, eyes bright. "We're really doing it." The balloon rose higher, the breeze carrying them gently forward. The burner fired now and then with a comforting roar, like a heartbeat. Harley looked over the edge, then straight down, then back at Dad. "Dad?" "I'm having a thought." Dad waited. "I am thinking that birds must feel very proud of themselves." Dad laughed. The higher they went, the quieter everything became. No cars, no barking dogs, no rustling leaves close enough to hear. Just wind, sky, and space. Harley had never seen the world like this. Rivers curved like ribbons of glass. Roads looked like pencil lines. Lakes reflected the sky so perfectly that it was hard to tell where the water ended and clouds began. "Dad," Harley said softly, "it looks like a map." Dad nodded. "A real one?" Harley smiled. "With no 'you are here' dot." They drifted over fields and forests, past farmhouses and winding creeks. Somewhere below, cows lifted their heads in confusion. Somewhere below, a dog barked, the sound floating faintly upward. Harley wagged his tail. "I bet that dog is telling everyone I saw a balloon today," he said. A cluster of clouds slid lazily past them, close enough that Harley felt like he could step onto one if he tried. He reached out a paw and touched one. The clouds were soft and pale, their edges glowing in the sunlight. Shadows moved across the land below, slow and dreamy. Harley squinted. "That one looks like a duck." Dad followed his gaze. "I see that." "And that one looks like a bone." "Of course it does," said Dad. Harley beamed. "The sky understands me." They floated in companionable silence for a while, sharing snacks and views. The basket creaked gently, a comforting sound, like an old porch swing. Harley leaned his head against Dad's knee. "This," he said, "is a very good adventure." Dad's voice was quiet. "One of the best." At one point, the balloon dipped slightly, just enough for Harley's stomach to flutter. He stiffened. Dad noticed immediately. "You okay, buddy?" Harley took a breath, then another. "Yes," he said, "I am brave, and also I am holding on to you." Dad's hand rested firmly on Harley's back. "I've got you." The balloon steadied, the breeze smoothed out, and Harley relaxed. After a moment he added, "I am still brave, though." Dad smiled. "I know." The sun climbed higher, warming the basket and the air around them. Below, the land slowly shifted from wild forest to open fields again. The crew spoke quietly, adjusting ropes and watching the wind. Harley watched too. He felt calm, peaceful, full in the best way. "You know," he said thoughtfully, "this is different than walking." Dad raised an eyebrow. "How so?" "Well," Harley said, "when you walk, you choose where you go. When you float, you trust." Dad nodded slowly. "That's a pretty good way of putting it." Harley yawned. I am very good at trusting you, Dad." Dad's chest tightened a little. He leaned down and pressed a kiss to the top of Harley's head. The ground rose to meet them gradually, not with a rush, but with a welcome. Trees grew tall again, grass regained its texture. The meadow appeared just where it should be, waiting patiently. The basket touched down with a gentle bump. Harley blinked, then laughed. "We landed," he announced proudly, as if he had personally steered the balloon. The crew secured everything, the fabric slowly settling back onto the grass, colors folding in on themselves like a well-loved quilt. Harley stepped out and immediately looked up. The sky seemed bigger somehow. "Dad?" "Yeah? Can we do that again someday?" Dad smiled. "Anytime." Harley wagged, tail sweeping the grass. "Good, because I think the clouds liked us." Later, back on the porch with mugs and water bowls and tired, happy sighs, Harley curled up at Dad's feet. The day felt different now, bigger. He closed his eyes, and the basket still swaying gently in his memory, with the sky stretching endlessly above. "Dad," he murmured sleepily, "today I learned something." Dad smiled. "What's that?" Harley's tail thumped. "The world is very big," he said, "but it's not scary, as long as you're holding the right hand." Dad looked down at him, eyes soft. "You always will be, buddy." Harley smiled, already drifting towards sleep. Best day ever.
What a great day that turned out to be! Best day ever! I can't wait until next week when we go on another adventure. Make sure you click subscribe so you can join me, and like my video too, please, because I sure like you. See you next week, friends!